Hello. I can't sleep and I kind of want to draw, so I'm streaming. And the music is so loud in my ears that it's kind of hard to hear. Let me see if I can. Hello. Tonight I'm mainly just gonna be making some designs and chilling, I guess. Probably announce that I'm actually streaming though for my fellow insomniacs. Um, wait, forgot to change the stream name. Huh. Whoops. Hope I don't have to stop and start again. That would be kind of annoying. No, okay, we're good. Yeah, okay. Alright, there we go. I think. Did I fix it? Did I fix it? Oh, hi, you! Hi, Cal. I'm streaming because I have nothing better to do. And I'm an insomniac, that too. That sounds awesome. Though I will say, for, tomorrow, um, I mean, you already know, I'm like, hella autistic with my food choices, my sensory issues and shit, so just mayonnaise. Making mac and cheese, I don't know something. Alright, awesome. Right now, I'm just designing some new characters for a fun little concept I came up with. Um, so while I do that, I'm just gonna like lore drop here and there. Yap about my OCs. It's like making the main character right now. So, Oh my god, Cal. Um, so Cal. I just got word that, with like, art school submissions and everything, I just got word that some industry professionals are gonna, like, be going through my Blue Sky just to, like, look at all my work. Cause, like, I sent in my Blue Sky, cause that's, like, mainly what I use now for, like, posting art. Um, I'm like so nervous. I've been going through my Blue Sky, like cleaning it out and like deleting and reposting and deleting and reposting, trying to make it look like somewhat presentable. Because these are like professionals that are gonna be like, is this someone we want at our school? So I'm just like, I've been tweaking about it. Example, I asked like this one server I'm in advice, and then I was like, no, that's cringe. They're gonna think I'm weird if I ask for advice because my brain is like, I don't know. I always like self-doubt, you know, so I just like deleted it and then I started like pacing and I was like, oh my god, what do I do? I can't ask the main server because there's only like one or two professionals in there and they're not in the art industry and I don't think they've been to art school, so I'm just like losing my shit, man. I just get like weird and panicky over these things and then I overthink and then I'm like, oh my god, this is so cringe. Oh yeah, I know. It's just like the weird way I am with like thinking that everyone hates me for some reason, even though that's not true, evidently. Especially since I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but you know what I mean. It's oh yeah, no, this ain't about cringe culture. This is more about second guessing myself and like I'm gonna punch the overthinking. I don't want you just the overthinking. I would appreciate that. That would be so sick. Just get rid of it. I hate this. I hope no one in the server saw that though, because like, I mean, I posted it and then I deleted it. I hope no one thinks I'm weird. I don't know. I'm just tweaking over this. So I'm just like, do I ask for advice? Do I like? Here, I'll ask the server for advice. Never mind, that's cringe. Um, or like, do I just like delete half of my posts that could be like seen as um not professional or like it's just being like being how I am and being like judged as an applicant for art school, which is one of like my biggest aspirations to get into at the moment because I want to be like an animator and have an indie show and all that shit. But it's just like being judged in such a way and being mentally ill are not very good things that go together. So I'm gonna fight your second guesses. Lovingly beats the mental illness. This is like my first time around. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I wish there were like more specifically art industry professionals in my like circle so that I could like ask for advice, but anyone who could be considered that, I just don't know them well enough, so like when I like try to ask those people for help, I just like I can't, and then I like delete it, and then I'm like never mind, and then I don't know. That is to say, I just hope that what I've submitted will be good enough. Very nervous. Fuck it, we ball. I mean, I know that you can, like, reapply if you get denied, but I really hope I don't get denied, because that would be a huge blow. And I don't want to do all that paperwork all over again. That would be so ass. Manifesting that the art gods like me enough to get me into art school on my first try. I've also been, like, worrying specifically about, like, they'll provide all of, like, the online programs, like Adobe Animate and, like, all that, but then I have to, like, find out. I mean, right now I'm being, like, determined if I'm, I guess, disabled enough to receive assistance for my art school, tuition and, like, the money and everything, but I don't know if that will count any other, like, physical things that I'll need, like, um, school books, like, even our school has the fuck ass books that you have to buy. Turn to page, blank. We're gonna be going over this and this. Those. And then I also have to get. This is what I'm most worried about, and I don't know if they'll cover it. So I don't know. I'm just, like, stressing about how I'm gonna pay for it if they don't. Is, like, a scanner, because I'm going into animation in art school, so I need to both learn how to do traditional and digital. Thing is, I don't have the things I need for traditional, and they want me to, like, get Acme paper and a very specific, like, art desk. The ones that, like, glow so you can see your frames on, like, the paper, and then I have to, like, get, like, thousands of Acme papers. So and again, like, a scanner. That's the biggest one. Like, that's tech. That's gonna be expensive, but I need it for classes I want to take. And I don't know if the um, people I'm trying to go through will cover that as well, because, like, they already are probably going to cover my tuition. I don't know if they're going to cover any physical media I would need. I hope so. I really do hope so. But I don't know. Applying for art school is stressful. Facebook paper, man. Later, old college books and stuff. I appreciate it, but this is one of the cases where they're asking for me to buy their specific, book that I would need. Let's see, what body shape do I want her to have? Maybe, like, I feel like she's a very nervous person, so sorry, don't mind me. I have to draw as well, just because this is an art stream, but so, apologies ahead of time if my responses start becoming, like, slightly delayed, but I'll check back every, like, 2 seconds in the chat. Oh, I got a DM, hold on. It's nothing important. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so, yeah, I did say I was gonna talk about, like, enough blabbering about the stresses of applying to art school. I'm gonna blab about typically what I'm designing for now. So I'm gonna actually pull up the doc, because I have, like, a bunch of notes written down, and I want to be specific, so that I don't just, like, confusedly ramble. Mac and cheese is done, so I'm probably gonna doom scroll TikTok for a bit and then go to sleep. Okay, if you're leaving, then good night, Cal. Okay, so let me yap about this. So the characters I'm designing right now are for like a new um idea that I came up with recently. It's like I don't know, concept. I have a lot of concepts, but this is yeah, so this concept that I'm designing for right now is called Aether's Gate, and I'm gonna read from the doc what I've written down. Um, I'm gonna try to both quote and like add my own commentary because I've expanded it a bit past like I've expanded a bit like past what I've written down, but what I've written down right here says Earthfinity got bored. Earthfinity was the original creator of Aether, an Earth-adjacent planet, and originally became a god with love. And they're like Eternity is like this, right? Um, not older than time and space itself, but still pretty old. And they wanted to create something, so they created a planet uh this planet called Aether with like Earthinians on it. And so, however, over time, this god Earthinity got bored. So bored, in fact, that they decided to bring upon disorder to their own utopian creation. Because originally, Aether was like very peaceful. So, and like everyone loved each other, there was no discord or chaos, but then the god got bored. So they decided to experiment with these creatures that they made. Um, this god of this world that they created officially sponsored what's called the Aether's Gate, which is like this game show that accepts like 5 to 7 contestants every like 1,000 years. And so they're basically like these death games with powerful prizes, awakening the possibility for personal want and needy mortals, which causes the discord because usually, you know, humans are, and like the mortals in this case, like they they didn't know it before, but once they were introduced to like need and like wants and like earthly pleasures, that basically ruined everything. Um, and so every 1,000 years, the contestants of the Earthinian population are allowed to participate in the games at an action game show run by the god, and usually these every 1,000 years, Aetherfinity chooses a vessel, like a specific vessel um to like project themselves through because they're a god. If a mortal stared at them directly, that mortal would probably explode and never be the same. So they choose a vessel every 1,000 years, and so far that hasn't been like a problem, except for this game go around um because this time around the mortal that they chose to be their vessel is actually secretly very unstable and has some pretty dark desires and wants like this prize of the death games for their own, so they try to like actively corrupt the participants further and get them and like manipulate them and such, while Aetherfinity isn't present and like possessing them to be like the host to this game show. I haven't mentioned the prize yet, but the prize for winning the Aether's Gates games is one single altercation to reality, with the one exception being that you can't kill everyone. But that can still be used for great evil. Like, someone could be like, I mean, if the wrong person were to win the games, they could just basically kill like a specific group because of their own like bigotry and hatred, or like impart chaos upon the lands, or like so but that's kind of like the point, because the god of this world got bored and wants to see more interesting shit happen, but the god is also sort of blindsided by whenever they turn their eyes away, the vessel that they chose is like actively working against them to try and like I haven't figured out specifics yet, but like overthrow God or something of that nature. I don't know. That would be I'm still designing him, but that would be this guy. Um, this fucking twink right here who wants to overthrow God. But so I think the main character, I have like a concept of it, who very like naive but kind-hearted. I want to risk my life to like bring positive change because since Airfinity brought like free will and like greed to mortals, like things have gone downhill, and like this individual was like sick of seeing like their fellow mortals suffer, so they want to like change the world. Little did they know they have to go against the literal vessel of God. Anyways, and it's also just like these games are pretty wacky, and it would be like more of a mature story. Like people die in some pretty gruesome ways. And never get too attached to anyone because you never know who will die next. I like talked about this to one other person. They were like, "It's Squid Games, but like divine and existential." Oh, hi, Wither. I'm gonna dip because I have work tomorrow, but keep yapping and we'll watch the recording soon. Okay. Awesome. Still feel like I'm not articulating myself very well just because I'm like, I mean, even though I can't sleep, I'm still kind of like all over the place, but I hope my nonsensical rambling is like turning people away from the stream. But anyways, TLDR, the god of this specific world made people originally out of like love and creativity, but over time it's kind of like Undertale, you know, like deity gets bored and decides to impart chaos, but instead of like resetting and like timeline shenanigans, in this case it's just I'm gonna pit my own people against each other. It's like the god and mortal equivalent of dogfights, I would say. So we have the main character who like wants to change the world and help it go back to the peaceful place that it used to be. And then we have like other contestants in it for their own like personal needs and desires. Some of them want to actually just kill groups of people they don't like because, you know, games like this are going to attract people like that. Just the most evil kinds, you know? And then there's other people in there who want it for more personal reasons, like they want to permanently change something about themselves or something about social constructs, or just maybe even like get rid of like a specific event or memory that happened. Like, there's a lot of reasons why someone would want to participate in these, you know, if you've seen Gravity Falls, there's the time trials, or I can't remember, it's been a while since I've watched Gravity Falls, but there's like a time wish, and then everyone like participates in these games. That's like, it's like that, like taken more seriously. And then there's also like the whole vessel announcer aspect, where like God chooses out the chosen one to like so that they can use them to speak to the people without freaking them out with their true appearance. But then said vessel has their own agendas and is actually pretty fucked up in the head. So you also have like this vessel of God who's trying to like, hijack the situation for his own wants and needs as well. It also has, like, slight I mean, this guy is, like, based off of, like, kind of praised evangelicals, so he's, like, very manipulative. Very manipulative. Like, when a contestant isn't being, like, actively watched, he'll go over while he's not being possessed and just, like, whisper propaganda to them. Like, oh, you should do what I want because it could actually really benefit for you if you do this for me. If you try to win the games or sabotage someone and, like, wish for this instead because it's what you actually want. I haven't quite figured out what his actual goals are, but they're not good. And whatever he ends up, like, trying to hijack these god games for, it's gonna be something pretty evil. I just don't. This is, like, still very just. I'm creating this just for the hell of it, so I'm still figuring out things. You can also tell when he's, like, being a host or not by his eyes. If he's, like, hosting, like, God or Earthinity in this case, he has these kind of eyes right here with, like, the blue and yellow. But if it's just him, it's going to be, like, it's just kind of like dead eyes, you know? But he's basically just, like, the most, like, manipulative evil asshole ever. I'd imagine, like, his backstory is going to have some sort of case of him, like, having some sort of inferiority complex, that, like, causes him to, like, need control or need something specific to try to hijack these, like, considered by quite a few mortals sacred games, even though they're just basically Wipeout, but, like, you know, deadly and hosted by God. Even though God in this case is pretty evil, a lot of people still, you know, look up to this God or Trinity and, like, insist that they have, like, good intentions when they really don't. It's quite obvious, but they're just, like, so brainwashed by, like, worship and how they were brought up and just things like that. Kinda like a very specific group that I won't mention, but you know, you know. So not only would, like, this go into, like, religious themes, but also, like, humanity and, like, both the good and bad of, like, sentience and control. And also just a lot about how people in important positions will often have their own agendas and will, like, try to hijack and try to hurt just because they have, like, I don't know how to do that. What is hard is. I've also been out of practice for a little bit because my I was out of I haven't drawn in like a week or so because I was like pretty much bedridden because I ran out of meds that I basically need to function, and I just barely got like a refill. For these specific meds, I have to like set times ahead of time to like get them. And then I kind of procrastinated, and so I'm just like kind of getting back into the swing of things. So apologies if I'm like doing a lot of erasing and redrawing and erasing and redrawing. I'm getting back into it. Really need to like work on a better summary, I think. I forgot how messy the summary I initially created was. I probably sounded like a bumbling idiot trying to talk about this idea. I feel like the longer I'm on air, the more like relaxed I become with talking over time. I just need to like let loose a little, get comfortable. And then I won't be like stumbling over and like second guessing my words as much. I also need to really work on my I'm also working on references for Jupiter and Kepler, which is one of my other big ideas. Side tangent, I do want to like talk a little bit about the things I've created without like stumbling over myself or not making any sense, because I genuinely am like really passionate about the things I make, but so maybe I can talk a little bit about something I have been working on for longer and I know a lot better. For those of you who don't know, these are 3 characters of a series I want to make one day called Jup and Kep. This is Jupiter on the right, Kepler in the middle, and the boss on the left. And basically, the whole premise is what if an eldritch deity was a fanboy? So, the boss right here, let me zoom in on him. The boss right here is an eldritch deity. This is not his true form, by the way. This is his like comprehensible, won't explode your brain form. But a little funny tidbit about him is sometimes he'll forget to change back to this form, and he'll accidentally explode the minds of mortals because he just accidentally shows them his like true self, and then he'll just bring them back. Like, oh, whoops, let me just bring you back from the dead real quick. Sorry, I forgot to change. But this guy, usually he watches over different multiverses and dimensions, in the way that one would flip through the channels of TV, or would flip through their interests or hyperfixations. So he has favorite characters who are actually literally real people, because, this is just like an actual eldritch deity who treats mortals as his like fixations or his interests, to them they're all fictional characters. So he has favorite characters, and sometimes what he'll do, the reason he's called the boss is because whenever one of his favorite mortals, so to speak, is in like trouble or something bad happens to them, sometimes what he'll do is he'll quote unquote hire them. So this means that he'll pluck them out of their reality, or like give them what he considers a fresh start. all of the employees look similar to this. They have one consistent shape theme for Jupiter, its stars. Um, they all have a screen on their chest, just like a little design work where it's like this emoji that kind of always portrays how they actually feel. And what he does, how he creates these, is that he takes the mortal of his choosing that he wants to hire or save in his eyes. He'll take one of the shapes out of his form, because, like, a lot of the floating shapes in his form are, like, the keys to creation, so he'll take out, like, one of these shapes, and then he'll take the person, and then they're kind of like, he can kind of, like, mold them like a dough, so he'll hold them and, like, reshape them into, what he'll do is he'll place the shape into, like, their chest or something, right? And then he'll, like, squish them together and remold them like clay. And they'll come out looking kind of like Jupiter. And these are what the employees essentially are. They don't really have any real obligations, they can't get in trouble, but, usually they, like, carry out things for the boss. If the boss wants something or needs something, they'll usually do it without question. Otherwise, they just basically are so entrenched in escapism because they can jump from multi-dimension to they can jump from dimension to dimension. They're multi-dimensional travelers that were specifically chosen by the boss because he pitied them. And there are a few problems with this. Like, there are definitely, like, problems with how the boss does this and how he views mortals. And that, Jupiter and Kepler, I feel like, would be kind of more like a fun, more specifically character-driven, half episodic, half serialized show, but if it were to go into any deeper themes, it would be why the boss's point of thinking isn't actually that great. Um, because again, he doesn't see. It's kind of like a commentary on parasocialism and how he doesn't see these people as actual like people rather than characters that he gets invested in the lives of, and you know, such. Though the main conflict of the story would be how Jupiter. I'll give like first I'll give some like exposition on Jupiter. Jupiter came from a very not healthy home life, a very abusive home life, and was about 18 to 19. Couldn't really move out of his mom's place because he didn't have the money. But one day things got so bad that he ran away. And was going to meet up with the only other person he really had in his life, which was his best friend. And then the boss, while Jupiter was like running and like trying to meet their friend, so they not I misgendered my own character. Jupiter uses he, she just for just to correct myself, but and just so people know, but as she was running to her friend, the boss just kind of plucked her out of her reality without any warning, and so essentially to her own world she just disappeared without a trace. Her friend doesn't know where she is, and over time she kind of got scared to go back and like let this person know that she's okay. So it's very much like an avoidance thing. It's about like avoiding your problems and like, of course, escapism. I know escapism is overdone, but I just like, it's a very personal like topic to me, so I would love to kind of explore it in my own unique way. And in this case, it's a mix of her escapism and avoidance of real problems. Specifically in interpersonal issues, because there's a multitude of reasons why she's afraid to go back and let her friend know she's okay. One, what would he think of the fact that she's this new thing? Two, over time, she, like, kind of convinced herself that she just, like, keeps putting it off because she's so scared and putting it off and putting it off, and her new excuse, along from, oh, he will not like me anymore because I'm this thing, is that also, well, it's been so long now, what's the point? And of course, there's obviously, like, flaw in that logic, and that would be, like, the main kind of internal struggle of Jupiter. That, and learning to come to terms with what happened to her in her past home life. And then on the boss's side, one of the less but still pretty important themes is parasocialism. So, definitely thought these characters out a bit more. Oh, I should probably talk about Kepler. Okay, so every employee that is like turned into an employee by the boss gets a choice between two means of traveling worlds. They're a bit unorthodox just because the boss likes being unorthodox and likes creativity and doesn't want to just be like boring with the things he comes up with. He's not really a creator aside from like turning these people into these own versions of themselves, but his own way of gifting them multi-dimensional travel is that they're either gifted these creatures right here, which can create portals with their tail. You can see that the tail is kind of chopped up at the end. That's because like these things are usually like these ends of the tail are usually what is used to make these portals, or if they don't want to deal with the responsibility of having this kind of creature that they might look after, or they just are more of like a solo, I don't know. If they don't want to have like this means of transportation, then they're usually gifted like some object, usually glasses, or like a watch or something, or like a key that is the alternative means of going from worlds, or not world to world, but dimension to dimension, you know. And since the boss, like, surveys all sorts of, like, different worlds and multi-dimension, like, dimensions, you know, different dimensions and such, there are humanoid people, and then some other worlds, they look like a bit weirder, more alien, because they're not from our worlds, they're from different worlds that the boss also watches over. I will specify that he did not create reality. He's just, like, something that happens to be way more powerful that is also in reality. I'll use one of my favorite game series um, as, like, what is it? An example. But in Deltarune, we, the player, are considered like these eldritch sort of beings to the world of Deltarune. Just because we're way more powerful. We're like on a different plane of reality than the characters of Deltarune. But we did not create Deltarune. That's kind of how the boss is, you know. He's like on this higher plane, and he has these powers and abilities, but he did not create the world itself. He's just a participant that is of higher being or existence. And he also happens to be a giant nerd, so might actually work a bit on these guys, I think. So I should probably look more on this too, you know. I do need to finish these references, though. My allergies are starting up. God damn it. Let's see here. Oh yeah! I forgot to bring up this feature. It's a really fun feature of, like, the employees. I should probably specify, just so it's, like, a little less confusing in case, like, anyone listening to this loses track, but the employees are, like, previously mortal and other species, like humans or others from different worlds or realities, but they all are turned into a new species of multidimensional traveler or immortal being called the employees. So they all look similar and they all have like one shaped thing. And the fun feature I was going to talk about is you can't see it in this version. I'll probably add it as a note or something, but they have little roller skates that pop out of their boots for more efficient travel. Basically, just because the boss was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if these guys just had, like, roller skates as a built-in feature? So, they look kind of like this, but they can just pop out roller skates from the soles of their shoes. They can also shift into kind of jetpacky things. They're very mobile. They can get around very easily. Their arms are typically also made out of like a weird substance that can summon or make anything. So often when an employee needs something, they'll just reach into, like, they'll take one of their arms and they'll reach into one of they'll reach into one of their other arms or their other arm if they're like, you know, human or like a stereotypical mortal. But they'll reach into their arm and then they'll just pull out whatever bullshit they need. So if they need, like, I don't know, an iPhone or something. So these arms are kind of like a little bit of what the boss is made out of. So I think there's a bot in chat. Hold on. I don't think I can. Can I? Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can delete it through OBS. Whatever. I don't care enough. It's just a bot. Whatever. Gotta figure out how to, like, mod people. I'm still very new to streaming, so. Right now, where it's at is just me yapping about characters that I've made to anyone who will listen, really. That's kind of what this is right now. Her face shape is bugging me. Let me see if I can fix that. That looks a little bit better, I think, anyway. It's just too, like, almost too round and formless. Also probably makes the stars on his antennas a bit bigger. There we go. I want to say that I've had Jupiter as a character for, I don't know, around a year. This was like the second creation of mine that I put more thought into. The first one was Blank Woods, but because it wasn't my first in-depth world built concepts, it was a little more messy. Just because I was very inexperienced. But this time around, I feel like it's more creative. It's still creative and purposefully nonsensical where I want it to be, but not you know, underbaked or like too confusing. It's more solid. Why am I losing feeling in my pointer finger? What the fuck? I think my circulation's being weird. Hold on. Oh my god, I love this song. Probably get checked out for that. Sometimes I just lose circulation randomly. That's probably not normal. I think what I'll do is I'll just detour and work on these guys a bit and then color them and shit. Why couldn't I have started streaming earlier? It's 1:30 a.m. No one's gonna watch this. Except for other insomniacs. But yeah, I think my fingers stopped bleeding out. I can continue drawing now. Circulation is back. honestly, when I like look back at all of like the creations and like OC worlds that I've made, I think Jupiter and Kepler is my best or like most fleshed out one at least. And it's really the one that I want to do something with, you know. I love Jupiter to death. Like he is one of my favorite like characters that I've made so far. And I feel like it's unique enough as a concept to like work, you know. There are like some tweaks that I need to and probably should make, but I'm more confident in these specific guys of mine. I should probably create like some of Jupiter's coworkers though. I have one or two, but I always have like problems like making coworkers for Jupiter because like I have to make sure that they're not too similar, but they also are very clearly employees, you know. Oh my god, you know what the dream would be? I would kill to like have the opportunity to pitch something, or honestly just Jupiter and Kepler itself to somewhere like Glitch Productions or some other indie studio. I really specifically want Jupiter and Kepler in indie production just because I would not trust kind of like more official studios or bigger companies with this baby of mine. I've seen what happens. But I also there's also no way I could do it all on my own, at least if Jupiter and Kepler would become an actual like series of full episodes. Maybe I can make like one or two just like cute little shorts by myself as soon as I get to Squid or what have you. But for now, it's just I feel like my best bet for like making something like Jupiter and Kepler real would be to go to an indie studio that's already like pre-established. I know of Glitch, and I know there's probably one or two others, but ah, I'm struggling on this stupid ass loop. What the fuck? Or to struggle. Come on. I know sometimes my like more dreamer aspects of myself, like I'm a bit of a dreamer. I like to imagine where I'll be, you know, or like think that, like imagine that one day I'll, you know, be able to tell these stories in the way I want to. But sometimes I can be more like kind of like unrealistic with like things that I want to do. I don't know. I just really hope I get to make a show someday. I would. Uh, that being said, this is a note to myself. Practice writing. I always like, I'm always like, oh boy, I want to make a show someday, and then I don't practice. I mean, I make the designs and everything, but I don't practice another important thing I would need, which is writing skills. I think I can be decent at it, but I've never tried to like write an at length narrative, and that's something I need to do and practice if I ever want to hope to, like, make, like, a cartoon or, like, a bigger production, you know? So, hopefully if I get into art school, they'll have, like, writing classes and, like, psychology of characters and how to tell a comprehensive narrative. I have, like, the story beats in my head. I just struggle to put them into words. I don't know, just, like, it's also hard in the aspect that when I write, I have to be motivated, and my motivation for writing is every once in a blue moon. That being said, I'm planning within the next month to see if I can get on some sort of, like, mood stabilizer or some sort of medication that can help me lock in, so to speak, just because I feel like a lot of my problems with, you know, getting started on things like these is that a lot of the times I just struggle motivating myself, you know. I've tried being better at, like, drawing once a day or, like, making sure that I don't skip too many, like, practice sessions with my art, but I was always, like, the kid in high school who, like, turned in their assignment, like, or, like, completed their assignments the night before, or, like, procrastinated and procrastinated until they were, like, almost due. And that's something I have to take care of or get better at if I ever want to follow my dreams and make a cartoon or make some more comprehensive narrative or tell a story, you know? I believe with time I will be able to have the skills I need to properly tell a story. It's just I need to sit myself down and, like, force myself to draw. It's like that one image of a guy at a desk being chained to a drawing tablet. That's me. Oh, this is sort of unrelated, but just something really cool. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, so I'll keep this very vague. I don't know. Um, the rules on that are because I was basically just approached without, like, specifics or more info aside from, like, the task I was given. But I will say, like, keeping it vague, I will say someone that I met recently asked me if I wanted to voice do a voiceover for a character from for a character for a professional project they're making. Like, this will be like, I think, I mean, it's not gonna be like a small indie project. It's gonna be like, this is like an actual production, and they approached me and asked me if I wanted to do voices for it, like, just like a voiceover. It's not the most, but it's like enough where it's like, oh my god, oh my god, you know. I haven't really talked anywhere about this because I just can't bring it up naturally anywhere. But oh my god, I think I mentioned this on Blue Sky. This is like the same person who's helping, like, with a little ARG project me and my friends are like making for the funsies, but hopefully that'll like see the light of day. Production's a little bit slow just because a lot of us are busy, and some of us, that being me, mainly, probably others, but I know that I struggle with this, is, you know, as I mentioned before, motivational issues, so. But if we really lock in, I'm sure we can, like, make something cool with that. I just want to make something, I want to tell a story. If I don't tell stories, I'll die. I want to make, like, specific, I just want to, I've always had, like, this urge, or this want, or, like, need to be able to tell a story that affects people, because I am a huge art enthusiast, and art has, like, impacted me in ways that I can't even begin to describe, but it's touched me so much that if I don't get to do the same, I wanna return the favor. I want to be able to, like, help people feel seen. I want to tell stories that impact people. I've always wanted to do this. And I feel like I might die if I don't get the chance to. I need to, I need to tell my stories. I have ideas in my head that are scratching at the walls of my skull, begging to get out. Like I need to get my ideas out there. I need to tell stories. It's such a primal urge almost. Like I need to tell stories. And I want to tell stories. And I want to make characters that people see themselves in. And I get very impatient with it. I get very, like, dreamery with it. I get very daydreamy with it, but it comes out of a genuine place. I know that I can be, like, weird or, like, annoying about it, or, it seems like, just how, I'm so passionate about it, man. I think for a while, I don't really use Twitter as much anymore, because it's really gone downhill. And people, I've, like, received, like, some harassment because people on Twitter suck. I'm trying to leave Twitter, become more active on Blue Sky, but back in the day, like, a year or two ago, I was just, like, almost delusionally, like, I'm gonna make something great someday, to the point where, like, something that I was, like, working on personally, like, this OC universe of mine, I put, I cringe thinking back on this, but I put, fucking working on, the fucking blank woods in my bio as if it were, like, an official production, just because of how badly I wanted to, like, make something. And I still do. And I will do anything I can to reach that goal of mine. I want to tell stories, but I'm trying to be more realistic about it, And less, like, head in the clouds. I don't know. I've always, like, felt things to an extreme, and I feel so many things and emotions, so it's hard to regulate myself sometimes. I'm a big feeler when it comes to things that I'm, like, passionate about. I just love art. I love weird art. I don't think I would be here without weird art, or, like, indie productions, or just people expressing themselves in such a way that so deeply impacts others because of how genuine it is. I want to do that. I want to do that. Unlike Slenderman, instead of collect my pages, it's read my stories. Or collect my characters or something, I don't know. Some of my biggest inspirations for the things that I make, I would say, there are like specific creators. None of these people or anyone ever will probably even like hear or appreciate what I have to say, but I'm gonna say it because I'm very passionate, and these people like are just so inspiring and make me want to, you know, keep pursuing and keep going towards this goal of telling my own stories. But I credit a lot to, I think there's 3 or 4 main artists that are just super inspiring to me. That would be, I'm gonna turn down the music because I want to focus. I want to like articulate myself properly just because this is very important to me. Um, this is just me like yapping at like 1 a.m. No one will ever see this, but I just want to express these feelings of mine, you know. Um, some of my biggest inspirations and the reasons why like I keep going no matter how much like self-doubt I have, or like how much I like have internal negative thoughts of like, oh, you'll never tell stories, or you should just give up, or people hate you and you're annoying or whatever. A lot of sometimes it's pretty tempting, but then I look at like the pieces of art who have like inspired me so much. A lot of them were like um from like the sources that I've seen were created on napkins or like conceptualized like in the silliest ways, or like, you know, but these productions are like Welcome Home and like um and Clown, you know, Clown Coffin. The way they tell, they're very like early into Welcome Home, but the way they tell their stories and the way it's written is just like, even if we haven't really gotten into like the meat and bones of the narrative yet, just like the way that things are conducted is just so, it's special. It's really special, and you can see like the love and the creativity that goes into it. And I just like, I look up to Clown a lot. There's also Yara Asmar, the creator of Mr. Samuel's Tea Time. Oh boy, Mr. Samuel's Tea Time. I think I was watching Nightmind's video on it, and at first it like didn't really stand out to me, but I went and like I rewatched it. I think it was like on a weekend at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and I was having a hard time, and I like rewatched Mr. Samuel's Tea Time. And in that state of mind I was in, everything made sense, and everything was just so crafted and layered and meaningful that like that's the hardest I'd cried in a while. Mr. Samuel's Tea Time has is uh I'll just say there's a reason why um I'm always like singing the praises of it, or like I even have like on Blue Sky on my in my username, it's like #1 Mr. Samuel's Tea Time fan, just because Mr. Samuel's Tea Time has like impacted me more than anything. I have so many of the quotes like um ingrained in my brain. One of my favorites has to be um I have 2 favorites. Well, more than, I have a lot of favorites, but I'll like bring attention to 2 of my like favorite like lines of dialogue in Mr. Samuel's Tea Time. It's one of my biggest inspirations for like the weird project I'm creating with my friends right now. But two of my favorite lines, just because of how layered and how like emotional they are one. I'm gonna try to quote. I don't want to misquote this because like this is my favorite show ever, but I think it goes something like, "But I built my house in your bones, and if you go, where will I live?" Um, I don't want to get too sappy, so I won't explain the meaning. I would just advise you to go watch Mr. Samuel's Tea Time yourself. I don't want to like get too like sappy or sad, even though that's whole my whole thing, you know. But I don't know. That line just really touched me in a very specific way. It's like my life experiences. There's also I am sick of tea, but I must make it. At least now you'll be having tea with me. I feel a little more comfortable going into this one more like publicly. But the reason why I love that line so much, it's at least my interpretation of it is life is hard and it sucks, and sometimes you just don't want to live anymore. But at least there's people like you're sick of life, but at least there's people who can be sick of life with you. At least there's people who like get and like feel your pain and who can be there for you during this life, you know. Aside from Mr. Samuel's Tea Time and Welcome Home, some of my other biggest inspirations. This one's obvious. Delta. I'm obsessed with like not only like the lore and like oh the Gaster shit and Des, you know, but I also just love the character writing. Um, One thing I'm very excited for is to see like the nuances of Chris's character and how they think and why they act specific ways. I don't want to get too much into this. I'll end up like yapping about it for hours, but I have so much respect for Toby Radiation Fox. And I have seriously, I have so much respect for Toby Fox. I love how he like story tells and how he writes and just like oh my god, I'm so normal about Undertale and Deltarune. You guys have no idea. Fun fact, on my little, like, PNG tuber, the little red heart on my hat is a reference to Undertale Deltarune. Um, I wanted to make it pixelized, but then I got really annoyed and, like, impatient, so I just drew a heart. But at some point I want to go in there and, like, fix it to be... That'll be a pain in the ass to, like, set up again, but I want to, change it to the Deltarune, the actual, like, pixelated Deltarune heart, because, like, oh my god, I fucking love Undertale, dude, and Deltarune. Those are like literally two of my favorite games ever. Um, Super Mario Galaxy, I love you, but you'll never be Undertale or Deltarune. But yeah, I do love Super Mario Galaxy though, just because of like the vibes and like the world building. That's an ethereal vibe that I want to bring to my own works. And then last but not least, one of my other biggest inspirations has to be specifically like the shows made by Glitch Productions, but mainly the Amazing Digital Circus right now. Because if you've seen the show, you know that like some of the more personal moments are just written very well. Like the show portrays like very heavy subject matters with such grace and dignity and layers, and it's just dude, especially episode 4. I love the commentary of the Amazing Digital Circus episode 4. And it's just like mainly these creators that like inspire me to keep going even when I'm like feeling bad about myself or like whenever like I get down and like say, "Oh, I can't do this. Oh, people hate me. Oh, like I'm so annoying." Whatever. And then I'll like go into these medias again and like watch these things and like revisit them and I'll be like, "You know what? Maybe I can do this. Maybe uh maybe I can do this. You know, maybe there's something there, you know, maybe if I keep at it one day I'll be able to create something special just like that. It's a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but I think over time, especially if I get into art school, I'll be able to like harness this creativity of mine and like tell the stories that I want to. Well, at least that's the hope anyway. But really want to I think there's like two main big things that I want to like make into something. I've mentioned passively, but there's um I already talked about Jupiter and Kepler and why I really want to like do something like that and why it's special to me as like something I've created. But I also the little ARG multimedia project thing that's probably not going to see the light of day for a very long time, but that I'm working on with some of my good friends nonetheless is, let me actually pull up a doc in the background because I do have like a really good summary for this. It doesn't like give away everything about like the story, but it's like it tells enough. Just know that there's more to it than this summary. But and that there's like more time related multifacets, and that there's more characters in this, and that there's more branches to the story. But let me search real quick. My backwards. But yeah, real quick. The summary for this little project I'm creating with my friends right now, which is under the name Liminal Infinitum. I'll like give the summary here just because like, oh my god, I love what me and my friends have created so far. It's still like a far ways off, and I feel like before I'm gonna be able to do any like real work on this project, I need to like improve a lot in my like own art and like my drawings and stuff. But so far, I think what we have is pretty cool. Anyways, I digress. The summary for this little project I'm working on is: for those who are lost souls wandering without a purpose or sense of self, an eerie but welcoming place of soul searching opens up between the precipice of reality and fiction. The Liminal Infinitum. Main plot follows a mother going through a midlife crisis as she learns to rediscover herself and what she has lost. So basically, this project is about losing and refinding yourself. And to be able to fall into like this infinitum, this liminal infinitum, this place between, you have to be truly lost. Like so lost that it starts to affect how like real you are, I guess, and then you are more likely to slip between the cracks, you know? And so these people will fall down into like, there's a lot of like imagery of, there's this red door that pops up, right? And this red door is the entrance to the liminal infinitum. It only appears when you fall through the cracks, and anyone who the door appears to is like drawn to it. It's very hard to resist, especially if you're just completely lost. But and then it appears again when you've found yourself, and you're stable enough to be able to like when you know yourself enough that you don't qualify as lost anymore, and that you're not like you're too real for the liminal infinitum, and you're like able to leave. You know, if that makes any sense. But I'll like go through some of the symbolism right now, just because this is very interesting to me, and I like talking about it. The red door is symbolic for the beginning and end of a story, for it shows up to whisk away lost souls, and again when they are ready to leave and go back to the real world as their new self. So it's symbolic for the beginning and end, and for change, and for um like this glaring issue, you know, like if you don't know yourself, and even if you initially walk away from the red door, it will always be in your peripheral, haunting you until you address it directly. This infinitum is basically like structurally just an infinity of these like liminal spaces and these spaces between that have like lost their meaning over time. Um, and so there's like a bunch of you follow a few groups that like end up in this infinitum. Let me see if I can actually show off. Do I have? I have. Like, yeah, here we go. Here is two of the characters right here from this project that I've been working on with some friends. But these two, I don't want to give, I don't want to like say anything about why they're there or like who they are, just because me and the team are trying to keep it confidential. But these are two of the characters. Feel comfortable showing this here because I know not a lot of people are going to go watch the VOD, but these are the two of the designs. And I will also say there's themes of like misunderstanding and the overlooking of mental instability as well in our culture. You know, how mental illness a lot of the time isn't taken very seriously or it's looked down upon. Because the Red Door, um, you know how when cases, tragic cases involving mental illness or things like that, are like talked about, how they're usually sensationalized and treated as scary, you know, um, the Red Door to outsiders has basically become our version of missing 411 and like uh conspiracy theories and like scary phenomenon, ooh, you know, because like outsiders who see like glimpse people going into the Red Door, or this would be like a metaphor for people witnessing um the mentally ill or people who struggle with their mental health going through a hard time, they see it as like scary or unfamiliar. So it's become like kind of like this. It's not like it's not like not everyone is like super aware of it where it's like making national headlines, like how a lot of like mental health problems are usually looked over or glanced over. But in the other case, it's also popular enough where people like treat it as like people who are like very online, I guess, who are like in these rabbit holes or in these like ooh scary spaces, you know, crime YouTubers will like it's like popular in that specific niche. And people will be like, have you heard of the Red Door urban legend? It's so scary. People disappear into them. Um, when in reality, it's a lot more layered and nuanced than that. But you wouldn't know that unless you've been in the infinitum and you've been lost and like have found yourself again. You know, one of the main characters who like runs a blog based on the Red Door conspiracy got into this rabbit hole, so to speak, by finding um, me and the team at some point want to like lock in and make this fake re-upload of like a crime podcast episode on YouTube. And this was the episode that this character has seen. And so she becomes fascinated with the concept of the Red Door and makes a whole blog trying to like get to the bottom of it, you know, or understand it. So there's gonna be like a bit of like ARG or storytelling elements through, you know, fake blogs and fake videos, and you know, on the more story aspect of things when it comes to people who are actually experiencing the Red Door and the liminal infinitum, um, they will have more linear storytelling uh devices where it's gonna be like there'll be little cutscenes or um journal entries or like because like there's a for context there's a character in the infinitum who is basically like the guide or the receptionist. It's kind of like a nurse joy situation where like there's a bunch of receptionists um that are supposed to like help lost souls on their journey, but they speak nonsensically, kind of like Ina characters. um It was actually really funny playing Ina Dream Barbecue because like there's a character called the Receptionist, and I was playing and I was like, oh my god, Liminal Infinitum Receptionist? No way. In reality, though, they're very two different types of receptionists. These ones are more well-meaning and work for something to help, these people get out, you know. But they're like very nonsensical. They are very hit or miss, you know. And whatever entity, um, whatever entity is like they're trying to help these people that get stuck in this realm will usually talk to these receptionists and give them orders through like this red phone that dangles from the ceiling sometimes. Like it'll just fall down. You know in Fiona and Cake where there's like the phone that like falls from the ceiling that like the scarab talks to? It's kinda like that. But so I guess just like to recap, or TLDR, is that there's this reality where lost souls fall into, and the little that outsiders know about this reality is sensationalized and misinterpreted and treated as like something scary or like that's like more of the horror element where it's like at first like the red doors and the liminal infinitum seem scary and like harmful, but in reality they're really not. Um and then you have like and some of these outsiders or some of these people looking into it or like investigating are going to be part of the story as well. And but like I think I got sidetracked. What I was saying before is that there's going to be when it comes to the characters actually experiencing this, it's going to be like more straightforward storytelling. These receptionists, I think this is um where I got off track. But the receptionists, um, some of the there will be like files created by them, um, like documenting like the profiles of these characters or observations of them, and then there'll also be like some artifacts that were taken back from people who actually made it out of the liminal infinitum, that like find their way online. Or there's also like journal entries and fake video game cutscenes. And we also want to do one or two actual animated cutscenes. It's a bit more like far fetched, but um, so the people actually experiencing it have like more straightforward and more of like a storytelling perspective, whereas outsiders are like the more ARG aspect of it. Oh, another cool thing about Luminal Infinitum is that there's actual like residents who are natural to the infinitum. Um, and these guys are. Let me actually pull up an example. Real quick. They're like kind of like NPCs, you know. Sometimes they follow around the people who slip through the cracks and find themselves in the liminal infinitum. Other times they're just like, they're just there, you know. Um, but these are like the guys who were originally meant for this actual like reality. I'm sure that I have one somewhere. I just gotta find it. Aha! Here is one of the kind of NPCs or natural occurring characters. The multimedia aspect is a lot of the NPCs in the cutscenes, the few cutscenes that they'll be in, will be in different styles of media. For example, one of the people on the team at some point is going to create like an actual hand puppet for Maple, and we're gonna green screen him in to like the cutscenes that he's in, so it'll be like a crossover. It's like kind of like Space Jam, you know, or like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where it's like these mixed medias, Or like, Spider-Verse, different types of animation, but it's like there's gonna be puppets or again, different types of animations or sprites. This is one of the natural residents of the Infinitum, who is kind of like an NPC. I love Maple. He's one of my favorites. I love him so much. He's cool. Yeah. Enough about Liminal Infinitum. I'm not supposed to give too much away about it, so I'm gonna go back to drawing Jupiter and Kepler. Those are basically the long and short of the projects that I'm trying to actively do things with. I want to like make little homemade shorts here and there of like Jupiter and Kepler, but as I said before, I just need to get my hands on Toon Squid first. That being said, if you want to, or if you have spare change and want to support an artist in their creative endeavors, I have a coffee, and you can donate to me. Usually, I mean, it helps in general just because, like, the job market is ass right now, and I don't get commissions very often, so even so, like, I highly appreciate, any, like, support at all, because typically nowadays, just because of the spot I'm in, it goes to, like, groceries and, like, feeding my cat and, like, other essential needs. Um, but if you want to also maybe perhaps help me get um a refurbished iPad, like donate to me because I wanna get a refurbished iPad specifically so I can get Procreate and Toon Squid. Toon Squid's a big one. I'm sick and tired of animating on my phone, dude. Like it's restricting. I feel like if I had Toon Squid or a better animation software, I would be able to create better things and like create these little shorts here and there just for fun. Start like making more than just like a stupid flip a clip animation meme every once in a while that doesn't even look that good. I want to improve my art, but I need tools to do so because I am not built to be a phone artist. So if you wanna support the cause, I mean, I have a coffee. I have a coffee. Ko-fi. So you can help me upgrade my equipment. I do have a Helion tablet, but any of the programs I could get on here, I've tried Krita Animate. My computer hates it, and any of the other programs are like paid. So it would honestly, like, unironically be cheaper to get like a refurbished iPad and get ToonSquid. Because like I think ToonSquid's only like $10, and it's a pretty good program. It's basically Adobe, but user friendly. You know, 'Cause I want to be able to create shorts. I want to be able to not have to wait until I have the means of bigger production. Like making an actual indie show. I want to like make cool things here and there. Like get myself out there. Make like a 5 minute short with some friends about Jupe going on a wacky adventure. Well, you know how it is. Broke artist, starting artist. I'm one of those. Hi. I should actually. I mean, if anyone's interested. Oh fuck! I dropped my pen. Hold on. Uh, but if anyone is interested in maybe donating to the cause, my Ko-fi, I'll put it. Um, I'll put it on screen for a few seconds because if you're watching this, then you can just. Anyways, my Ko-fi, if you wanna support the cause, support my creative endeavors, fuck, uh, is literally just /Sparky. You put in the Ko-fi link, and then it's just Spark. It's literally just Sparky. Yeah. Why is my thing ringing? Okay. If you want to support my creative endeavors, help me cover the cost of getting better resources to improve my art further. That's that's where you go. I do sketch requests and like commissions. So I do want to tell stories. It's just a matter of improvement. Um, it's a matter of improvement, motivation, and being able to actually afford the better tools that I would need. I've seen people create some pretty cool stuff in Flip-a-Clip mobile, but I am not built for uh, finger animating. I tend to draw a lot better with a tablet and pen. Yeah, since I'm not yapping anymore, I'm gonna turn the music back on. Okay. Ooh, I should play this cool Penumbra Phantasm cover I found by I want to give credit because this is like an original fan song remix, but I've recently started watching like the fan content of this smaller um artist and musician called Surreal on YouTube. It's literally just the word surreal. Like, surrealism, surreal. So go check out Surreal. They made this fan song that I'm about to play. It would be a crime not to properly credit this because this is the only song for context. This is the only song that I've listened. These are like the only songs that I've listened to for the past 2 weeks. They're very cool fan works. I can't really show it right now because I don't want to risk accidentally showing my face, but I have a fan made keychain of Jupiter and Kepler. Maybe actually I can like just find a picture and then import it to the canvas real quick. But I made a little keychain of Jupiter and Kepler and it's very cute and I carry it with me everywhere. find it. Side quest. Ah, here it is. I found it. Let me see which. This is better quality. I'll get this one. Here it is. So I'm just gonna like import it real quick, just because I want to show it off, and it's really cool. But this right here, this is a little keychain I made of Jupiter and Kepler. It's my favorite possession. I'm not kidding. I take this thing with me everywhere. I also see the color palette a little as well, because I have not colored. I have not colored not colored the references that you can see me drawing on this canvas. Sorry, I lost my track of thought for a second. But now I just need to make one of the boss and maybe some of the other employees. I need to have a million keychains of these guys. I love them so much. Jupiter and Kepler, my nippies. My beepos. Little guys. Other terms of endearment. It's not... The camera quality on my phone kind of sucks, so it doesn't look the best, but you can make it out. Anyways, that's my fucking keychain that I made of my character. Characters, plural, Jupiter and Kepler, but yeah. Just wanted to show that off because I love them very much. Perceive my little guys. I gotta do the boss. I think out of all three of these guys, the boss is like the one who I struggled the most with when initially designing them. Eventually I came up with a design I liked, but it was just so hard, especially since when I was initially designing these guys, all I had was like a phone. And I couldn't really like move my hand as much to get like the lines that I want, you know? Because my phone screen's fucking small as hell. I'm so glad I don't have to make art solely on my phone anymore. I wish I could say the same for animation and like animatics. I would make them more if I had like a better animation program at my disposal, but unfortunately we're not there yet, which is why I'm gonna plug again. Um, should go totally support me here. No, it'd be so awesome and cool. It'd be so awesome. It'd be so cool. Anyways, can I just say I love this fan's interpretation of Gaster's theme? It's so good. Once again, Surreal made this. Go subscribe to Surreal on YouTube. They're pretty easy to find. If you're familiar with like Deltarune, and, you know, like type Surreal Deltarune UST, and then they'll show up. Go listen to their songs. They make some pretty awesome fan content. is another awesome fan song by the same creator I mentioned before. I think this one's an interpretation of like the sound test room from Undertale's Meat Factory. This song's pretty catchy too. Oh, another design attribute I will like mention about Jupiter and Kepler is that, as I mentioned before, each employee is inspired by like one shape. You know, they have like one prominent shape in their design. Or at most two. You can see that Jupiter has like straight up stars on like their outfit, but they also have like some blockiness around this just to like give them that cartoonish flair. But their main theme is like stars, you know. Um, since there's only so many shapes to go around when designing an employee, you're of course going to have some like repeat shape inspirations in some characters. Um, there's only like so many like combinations you can make. Of course, they're not all going to like look the same because like character diversity and such. But you want to have like you know that you want to have like that creativity and not have everything look the same. But like so like even if some of them have like repeat shapes in their designs, you can like still differentiate it. You know, you can just like look at it as there being different classes of um the employees, like different shape classes, but they're all like different, unique, and different colors. And you know what I'm saying. I think what should I play next? I'm just gonna go back to Mr. Toby Fox himself and more of his music, like usual. Hopes and dreams, my goat. Okay. I need to replay Undertale, man. It's been a while. The main video game I've played recently is just like Minecraft with friends and a little bit of Great God Grove and Deltarune replay here and there, but I need to revisit Undertale itself. It's just so good. I've been trying to actually convince my dad to check out Undertale and Deltarune, but I've gotten him to tentatively agree, but like whenever I bring it up to him, he's like, "Oh, but that looks so old school, and that's lame." And it pisses me off, dude, because it's like, Dad, I love you, but like, you're judging a book by its cover. I hate it when people do that. It's just like giving not giving something a chance just because like the art style like isn't your favorite. Like I'll like tell him about it. I'm like, oh my god, Dad, you need to play Undertale and Delta, and he's like, but it's the fucking 8-bit and lame and looks like the games that I got had to play as a kid. I want better graphics. You know that one Clockwork Orange video clip where it's like the guy tied down with his eyes forced open at like a screen. It's like being forced to watch something. That's gonna be me with my dad. I'm going to Clockwork Orange him and force him to play Deltarune and Undertale. He doesn't get a say. Oh, I love Undertale and Deltarune music. It's different late at night too. I'll keep the logo how it is, actually. I need to make like a keychain of the boss. I think that would be very fun. He's just so cool. I love the boss. Like I don't draw him nearly as much as I should, but I love him as equally as I do Jupiter and Kepler. Nah, he looks weird with the. I'm just gonna let you. Oh, you know who I also need to design? I really need to design Jupiter's friend. I haven't really I have a concept of him like in my head, but I don't have a name for him. I have like kind of a personality for him, but I don't have like a design or anything. I really need to get on that because he's important to like Jupiter. I've already designed Jupiter's bitch mom, but I haven't done anything with Isn't I shouldn't say bitch. I need to get that word out of my vocabulary. I'll put it this way. I won't sugarcoat it. I've designed her abusive, horrible mom, but I haven't designed her best friend yet. I need to. I really need to.
When the light is running low and the shadows start to grow, and the places that you know seem like fantasy, there's a light inside your soul that's still shining in the cold with the truth, the promise in our hearts. Don't
Don't
forget,
forget.
I'm with
If
you
you're
in the
in the
dark.
I love that song. Oh my god. Almost done with the line right here, so I can like start coloring. After I finish these guys, I'll probably like I don't know sketch for a few minutes and go to sleep, or maybe just go to sleep. I don't know. I have shit to do tomorrow. No, I'll probably have like zero luck with trying to fall asleep because my sleep schedule is so fucked right now. I really need to fix my sleep schedule again. My sleep schedule is just very fragile, so whenever I fix it, I have to be extremely careful and strict with myself on like listening to my body when it makes me feel tired. I'll make this longer actually. That's better. Oh, I forgot to line the rest of the shapes. I love this song as well. Undertale True Lab might be lovely. It's like, I love that section of the game so much. Eh. There we go. That's edited a bit. But... Good enough. There we are. My guys, I love them very much. Actually, I'm gonna fix this like a bit, but they're basically done. That's a bit better. Yeah, there we go. My guys, look at them! Perceived by creatures. Oh my god, it's 2 a.m. I should probably stop soon just because it's so late, but I want to color Jupiter first. Look up for have a palette somewhere. I know that I posted her whatever the most recent artifact, you know. Jupiter, where are you? Good enough. I don't really like this drawing of her anymore, but it has the palette I need. So, screw it. Probably not gonna do much shading just because this is a reference image, but well, any shading, just because it's a reference image. As for the other color palettes, I might have to dig in the vault, because I'm not going to do it tonight, but at some point I need to go through my files and find the last time I colored Art of Kepler, because I think it's been a while. And then, I don't think I have any, like, art of how I picture the boss's, design in my head. I don't have I mean, I have drawings of him here and there, but not a color palette, so. The only things I know for sure about his design is that he has, like, kind of like a darker hued, gooey skin. Skin is, I don't know if that's the right word, just because he's not human, and it's very goopy, and he has like a bunch of like colorful shapes that float around in this goop mass of his. It's like a darker, gooey substance that makes up his form. Everything else, I'll figure out the rest of the colors as I go, but his palette in particular has been a little bit difficult to figure out. I wish clips could be like longer on Twitch because I'd love to like document me yapping about my characters and their lore comprehensively, just for like later reference. Because I don't know. Alas, they're only minutes. They're only like a minute. They can only be like up to a minute long, and I am not that concise with my points. I should start uploading my like stream VODs on YouTube or something. I've thought about it. Could like make a side channel for it. Uh, sad Sparky, like sad Sofa Sparky, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. The only thing is, I don't know if my computer could handle downloading the entirety of one of my streams. I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot of space on my computer right now. Maybe if I cleared up some storage. I'll figure it out. Red's done. Wait, no, I forgot. I forgot the back of her hair. Hold on. Ah, whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Oh my god, it's lagging. I love art programming. Just in case, I'm gonna save. That makes me nervous. Eh. Oh, I should change layers. Hold on. There we go. Not want to recolor that. I should probably give my tablet a break real quick. It's kind of heating up. Hold on. I'd rather not have my tablet explode on me. I cannot afford another one. Oh my god, it's 3 a.m. Yeah, after I'm done coloring in Jupiter here, I'm gonna end stream, I think. Leg. My tablet's still really warm to the touch. I'm gonna give it a little more time. tablet's taking forever to cool down. That's kind of annoying. Whatever. Oh, another hymn playing. Neat. Art tablet, stop giving me issues, please. Thanks. Okay, I think it's cooled down enough for me to finish my art real quick and end stream. I'm gonna finish coloring Jupiter real quick. Won't take too long, so. There we go. I think that's all the green. Now I just need to put yellow, gray, black, and white. We're almost done. Take care of the yellow in the palette next, I think. There we go. Yeah, I gotta fix that. There we go. Awesome. I'll fix that too. There we go. Oh, the yellow. Did I lose? Yeah, there we go. Okay, almost done. Oh wait, I completely spaced and forgot the purple arms. Hold on. I forget the arms. The inside of Jupiter's mouth is also purple, but this particular F doesn't have that. And I'm not sure if I haven't decided if the employees can like they're immortal, but I don't know if they can like, get injured yet. Because like immortal beings can like in some media can like take damage. It just doesn't kill them. I haven't decided yet if I want that to be like a part of the employee species, but I would imagine that if they bled, it would be like the same or a bit darker of a hue of the color that like their arms and like more gooey parts are. So if Jupe bled, like I think her blood would be like either just also purple or like a darker purple. Alright, now we can do the last of this. Then I am ending the stream for the day afterwards. It's in progress though. I've been really procrastinating on this particular F, so that's good. Yeah, he's done! Let's go. Now I just gotta finish the other two. Probably not tonight. Maybe on a different stream, maybe by myself. Haven't decided yet, but Jupiter's done! Yeah! My son. My son, daughter, boy, girl thing. Whom I love. We love Jupiter. But yeah, alright. That's it from me for now. It is literally 3:15 a.m. in the morning for me. So, I'm gonna, like, go fuck off. Maybe, like, read something and then pass out on my own time. But, yeah. I don't really know how to end this. There's not really anyone to say goodbye to anyways, I don't think. So, bye. I guess. Oh god, I suck at ending streams. I'll probably stream again soon, I'm sure. Maybe in the next week or so if I have any spare time. You'll see me again. But until then, have a nice night, day, wherever you are. Yeah, thanks for, if you are somehow, for some reason, listening to this VOD, thanks for listening to me yap for 2 hours straight. And, yeah, goodbye. Bye. I'll be back. Bye.